Hey everybody, it's Scotty from Scotty's Record Shop with a May vinyl finds video. I was going to do two videos and I was looking at the pile. It's a big pile. Rather than try to just yap about all of them, I'm going to try to blow through them pretty quickly. Just another side note, the Jane Fonda workout album is my wife's. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Okay? Even though it's in my record collection, I have no idea how it got there. Anyway, a little bit of everything in the wall, isn't there? Okay, we'll go through these fairly quickly. Maybe I'll talk about a couple of them a little bit, but let's see what we got here in my big old box of vinyl. Um, first one, first two actually came from a good friend of mine. We kind of did a trade, I guess. Actually, two albums I showed in my April Vinyl Finds video. He wanted really bad, and he whimpered and whined, and he's one of my best friends, so we kind of did a trade. Anyway, Chris Squire, Fish Out of Water. Chris Squire being the bass player for Yes. It's not a bad album. It's not Yes, but it's not a bad album. Next one, Klaatu's second album, Hope. I really like this band. At least, let me get this working out a little bit. At least the first two albums are fantastic. And look up Klaatu and their supposed connection to the Beatles. It's really funny. It's not for the band. It didn't work out for their benefit. This was on Capitol Records, their second album. I have the first album on CD, but I'd love to get it on vinyl. Okay, this next one. These are all from the Record Connection for the most part now. The majority of you guys aren't going to know this band. This is kind of a main thing, I guess. The band is called The Blend. This is an album, Anytime Delight, their second record, 1979, on MCA. They're from Maine. They got national airplay, primarily with their first album, but a good band. We're kind of proud of them because they're from Maine, you know. And not too many bands really do well from Maine. So, all right, next one. Who was it that showed this? LJ showed a copy of this, and I got it for $1, and you get what you pay for. The cover is in great shape. The vinyl, well, you know, it's playable. But I love this album so much, and I have it on CD, and I wanted it. Ray Charles. What a classic album that is. Frank Sinatra. I love Frank. That's Life, 1966 on Reprise. This is an original pressing, and I believe it's in no, it's a stereo pressing, isn't it? Yeah, it's a stereo pressing. In good shape for $1. So, thank you. This next band really only had one hit. They had 3 or 4 singles that charted on the Billboard Hot 100, but they had one really big hit in 1976, Starland Vocal Band. And if you know the song Afternoon Delight, that's pretty much what this album sounds like. And I wanted it because I really dug that song, a lot of memories. I have the 45, but I wanted to hear the rest of the album. And I saw it for $1, and it was in great shape, so I went for it. Starland Vocal Band. What do we got here next? Nancy Sinatra in Boots. These boots were made for walking. 1966 for Nancy on this album. In her little miniskirt, Frank Sinatra's daughter. He was not very happy about her music career or her choice of music or anything, but, you know, whatever. Okay, changing things up a little bit here in the dollar bin. Covers aren't in the best of shape. Vinyl's pretty good, though. Ted Nugent, Having a Bad Morning. Weekend Warrior. Part of his 70s catalog. I like Ted Nugent's 70s stuff, early 80s stuff. Intensities. Kind of after that, it's kind of like, you know. And Scream Dream for $1. So there you go. That This was a great find for $1, and it was really in good shape. I don't know why it was in there. Um, Jimi Hendrix and the Band of Gypsies. There's some wear on the bottom here where it's splitting, but the vinyl's in good shape. Cover's in decent shape, and I paid $1 for it. So that goes into the pile. Thank you very much. An early 80s Doors greatest hits. Original inner sleeve. Great picture of Jim. In good shape. Not mint, but in good enough shape to keep it. And for $1. Mamas and the Papas. This is really in good shape for $1. Excuse me. This is an interesting one right here. An Aretha Franklin's greatest hits, but it has no hits on it, really. This was from her Columbia years. Her first label from 61-ish through 66. And this is a great record. It's pretty much a collection of her singles from that era. And her albums are kind of harder to find from this era. So I saw this for $1. It was in really good shape. So I grabbed it. And I'm a sucker for Aretha Franklin anyway. So, finishing my Simon & Garfunkel, The Graduate. An interesting album. From this, it's a soundtrack album. Some Simon & Garfunkel music on here. Some instrumental, incidental kind of music. But for $1 and in good shape. Thank you. The Spinners, 1976. On Atlantic. It's got the big hit off this is Rubber Band Man, and it's like 8 minutes long. It's really kind of cool. I'd never heard the full version of that. I've always heard the 45 of it. Big hit for the Spinners in 76. I had the 45, but when I saw this, I was like, it's in good shape. You know, not the funkiest. You know, it's not early Commodores. It's not Parliament, but it's it's a good listen. A Neil Diamond early classics. This is basically covering the stuff on Bang records, even though it's not on Bang. So I believe this was the 1978 pressing. But it's got a lot of great music in it. It was in fantastic shape, and I like Neil Diamond. I especially like his early stuff. Moving right along, James Taylor. His second album, not James Taylor, I'm sorry, Livingston Taylor. His second album, Live. And Livingston Taylor being James Taylor's little brother. This is a good record. On I can get it out here. Needs to be cleaned, but on Capricorn. Anyway, moving right along. The soundtrack that Thank God It's Friday. Disco. In decent shape, so I grabbed it. Sucker for Donna Summers, so. A couple of Supremes albums. Diana Ross and the Supremes Greatest Hits. This is a later 60s hits compilation, of course, after they started calling the band Diana Ross and the Supremes. One more from Diana Ross and the Supremes, Reflections. From, what, 67, 68, somewhere in that ballpark. Great record. Moving right along. Barry White's Greatest Hits, his first Greatest Hits compilation. Yeah, baby. Love that 70s soul stuff. Moving ahead again. Survivor with the big V. Not their best record, but not a bad record. They, in my opinion, they really went downhill after this, but. Sailcat. They had one and one only hit. Motorcycle Mama. The early 70s. This is a radio station copy from what? WBOR? I want to say BOR. Usually when you get stuff out of radio stations, it's trashed. This one, although it needs to be cleaned, is in good shape. So, Al Di Meola gave this a couple of spins. If you don't have any idea who he is, you might want to investigate. Great guitar work from Al. Okay. Some REO Speedwagon. I have some of these already, but these are better shape. These are in better shape. They are later pressing. So REO 2. My copy of REO 2 is an original pressing, but it's got horrible ring wear. It looks terrible with this black cover. This is a later pressing. It's doesn't have a barcode. Doesn't have a barcode, but it is a later pressing from the early 80s. But the cover's in great shape. So here's another later pressing. This actually does have the barcode on it. REO Speedwagon Live. My copy was in good shape. I'm not sure why I picked this one up. I'll probably pick... I like the original pressings better, just because I like them. I like that... Let me fix this here. Come on, there you go. I like the Epic label. Orange Epic label, but great record from REO. And gosh, I hope this isn't running too long. Pick up this pace a little bit. REO collection of their first 10 years. A great collection if you want to get just an overview of what they did prior to High Infidelity. That's a later pressing as well because of the barcode. This is just an upgrade copy. Carly Simon's, the best of Carly Simon. This is pretty much in mint shape. A little bit of ring wear, but really in great shape. Okay, let's keep moving. Jeff Beck, Blow by Blow. I didn't have this on vinyl, and you got to have this one on vinyl. Not an original pressing. It's on the blue Epic label, but still. Dire Straits, their second album, Communique. I didn't have this one on vinyl either. I love Mark Knopfler's work. His guitar work, anyway. Grand Funk, Hits. What a great record this is. An original pressing of this. Working on my Bonnie Raitt collection. Pretty much have all the 70s stuff now. I have all the 70s stuff thanks to this one finally. Taking my time. What a great Bonnie Raitt record. I can say that about all of her early works. I think the only one that I'm looking for is a later 80s album called 9 Lives. That was the name of the album. It's not her best work, but anyway. The first Dire Straits record, in decent shape, not mint, but decent shape. We saw this one in my last video, but my friend Roger sold it for the Claw 2 album, so I had to get another copy of it. And the copy I got is in better shape than the last one, so I'm not going to complain too much. Bonnie Raitt. Green Light. An upgrade copy for this. The only issue I have with this, if there's any issue, is it's a later pressing. It's got a barcode. But mint copy of Discovery from the Electric Light Orchestra. Let's see here. Bunch of albums, 3 albums by Michael Murphy, who his only really 2 big hits that people would know would be from the 70s, a song called Wildfire, and from the early 80s he changed again and did a song called What's Forever For, I believe was the name of it. This is some earlier stuff. This is, I think, his first album, Geronimo's Cadillac. This is a a really, really good record, actually, I think, for him. Kind of a country rocky kind of record. And a couple more from him from the mid-70s, 75, 76. Another great song from him is a song called Renegade. He's on one of these. Michael Murphy, who now goes by Michael Martin Murphy. Okay, a Melanie album. Working on her stuff. They're all over in the dollar bend, you know. Her albums are kind of spotty at times, but for a buck. This was a great find in the dollar bin. Blondie and Eat to the Beat. Couple more here. I'm blowing through here. Chicago's Greatest Hits. Even though I have this already, the vinyl was in better shape, so we may do a Frankenstein on this one. Same thing with this one, Little River Band. Sleeper Catcher. I absolutely love this album. I'm a huge Little River Band fan. Always have been. Let's see here. Some Hall & Oates albums. H2O. Gotta blow through these. Almost done with my Hall & Oates collection. There's 2 or 3 of them that I need. A later Hall & Oates album from what, 88 I believe for this one. Okay, the first live Hall & Oates album from 77. Not a bad record at all. These are on the MCA, not MCA but RCA label. So, and okay, what else we got here? The Wee 5. Got to be an old fuddy-duddy to remember this one. Woke up this morning and you were on my mind. Great song from them. Sniffing the Tears. I'm not the biggest fan of this record. I'm not the biggest fan of the lead singer. I hate to be cruel, but the song Driver's Seat is fantastic. And there's some other great stuff on this album too, but it was a buck, so went for it. Night Rangers, I believe their 3rd album, for a buck. This is one I'm kind of going out of the box for me on this one. The Human League. Don't You Want Me, Baby? 1982. Dare. Some synth pop. Euro synth pop. And the last one, yeah, I picked it up. I don't, whatever. Some cheesy pop from Rupert Holmes. Alrighty. Hopefully this didn't take too long. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I know that this one probably did drag out again, but it is appreciated. I really do appreciate you guys tuning into this stuff. I do have some other stuff that'll be in a little later on. Hopefully I'll do some catch-up with you then. And I'm planning on doing some artist features as well this month, hopefully. Alrighty. Thank you very much. And until next time, everybody, peace and love.